Good morning, Abraham. My question to you is, for the past couple of months, I've had a lot of clarity regarding my life, and
Had a what?
a lot of clarity. A lot of things have been.
Ooh, clarity.
I like to consider myself a person who's, I don't get out too much out of the vortex. I mean, obviously, we all get out, and I get out, but I like to think that my life's not very chaotic. So a couple of months ago, I had manifested an injury, and I'm actually recovering from that, so I'm better. And I think that's what helped me understand a little bit more about my life. And my question has to do with, I understand that we're all here. I mean, there's 7 billion people on this planet. We are at the leading edge. And I understand that more now, all the years that I've been listening to you. And I understand that we're all here to play. And I understand this is an adventure, this is a journey. The good, there's really no bad. I understand that helps us expand and grow. And my question has to do with, you were just mentioning right now with the lady that sometimes we beat ourselves up when we manifest something bad. And I also understand.
Which is the same thing as saying, I'm beating up on myself because I'm taking score of where I am on the path.
Yes.
When where I am on the path is where I am, and I'm still on my way to where I'm going. In other words, it's just really no point in that, is there?
No, there's not. It's like the veil's been lifting more and more. And I know it's happening to everybody here in this room as well, and to millions of people around the world.
By the veil lifting, what you mean is the vibration of that true inner knowing is being translated by you because you're in the receptive mode. There's no veil. That implies that someone else is separating you from you when you're the only one that ever separates you from you. And so the veil of confusion is lifting while the veil of clarity is descending, but there's no veil, is there? It's like you're listening to the radio station and you've got a fine tuner and you tune it and you hear static and you say, oh, there's that veil. That veil is in there. Now I can't hear. This is a staticky station now.
Yes.
I wish the veil would lift. And we said, or you could just tune it better.
I mean, well, part of that, I mean, we all came here to play, and, part of that, we chose to not know ourselves and to find ourselves. That's part of this physical dream that we're having.
Oh, so what you're calling the veil is the adventurous unknown?
Yes.
We would call it the adventurous unknown.
Well, the adventurous unknown, I mean, that's all part of it. We chose to.
Do you want to know the end to all the movies? How do you feel about spoiler alerts? If Esther knew the end of the Spurs game before it began, she wouldn't enjoy watching it. Spoiler alert. In other words, you're not wanting that because there are only good endings. You just got to look further down the road.
Yes. Basically, I'm very fortunate and I'm very happy to be part of this, to be alive, to be incarnated in this physical body. And
yes, you are, because there is nothing more delicious than being in a physical body on the leading edge with all that is source backing you up. And it's important for you to realize that as you stand having whatever conversation you're having or whatever experience you're having or even whatever thought you're having on whatever subject you're having it on, that your source is focused right there on the same subject with you, having its thoughts about the same thing. And the way you feel is about the meshing or not of those thoughts. So as you reach for alignment, then that's how you bring it into completion. You see, sometimes people say, when we say that, oh, Abraham, that feels a little bit like we're puppets on a string, like source is calling all the shots, like source has decided and we must align, and source has decided and we must align. We say, that isn't what happened. You are an extension of source. You sifted and sorted. You launched the rocket of desire. It's your desire that source is calling you to, not the desire of source. Can you hear that distinction? You are out here on the leading edge. You are the creator of this reality, you see. But because the basis of goodness is so powerful within you, you will not depart from the clarity. You will not depart from the love. You will not depart from the understanding of who you really are. You cannot possibly. When you have what you call your death experience, whoosh, right back in there. Path of really fast non-resistance. Whoosh. Ooh, dying is so fun. Whoosh. Right into clarity, right into love, right into knowing who you are, you see. But here you are. You're not ready to whoosh. What we wish for you is that you allow yourself to receive the knowing and to experience the fullness of that clarity here and now. Yeah.
So what I was saying is, when it comes to understanding and getting to know ourselves more, I mean, this is part of the adventure that we're having. I know that...
But you're not the only one that we were watching the words of very carefully. And say that again. We're going to get after you for it, but say it again.
Part of this adventure, I mean, obviously, we are getting to be who we are. We're trying to align with ourselves. You were saying before, sometimes we're trying to please other people or be someone who we're not. And part of this alignment is being who we are, who we really truly are.
You see, you cannot not be who you are.
That's right.
Because who you are is so dominant. But you can strike a pose that doesn't allow yourself the clear translation of who you are, and then you don't feel good. In other words, you can be really angry at someone, and you could have what you call in your physical terms really good reason for that anger. But that anger is your indication that you're not letting yourself be who you are. You are a pinched off version of who you are. And the more you justify, the more you pinch yourself off. Yeah.
I know we all have agreements before we incarnate with our soul.
We wouldn't call them agreements in the way that most humans mean it. We would call them intentions.
Intentions. Like, I'm sure Esther had an intention when she incarnated to do this type of work and be here and help people know more about the law of attraction.
She had an intention to stand in the clarity that is her, understanding that law of attraction would demonstrate whatever it demonstrates as a result of that. In other words, her intentions were not specifically as you see them. That was carved out of this life experience. You see what we're getting at?
Yes. So what I want some refinement in the sense that I know that when we're out of alignment or we're out of our vortex, we'll obviously manifest things that we don't want, because we're focused on those things.
Say it in a little clearer way. We don't allow ourselves to be in the receptive mode to see clearly the next logical step. So we hold ourselves in a little bit of a holding pattern unnecessarily.
Yes. My question to you, or part of my question, is our souls may have intentions as well to experience, let's say, quote unquote, certain dramas or certain events in order to expand more. So maybe, like in my case, manifesting an injury of the type that I had that actually kind of woke me up a little bit more.
But that sounds like assertion, and there isn't any of that. Here's really how it is. So from a non-physical perspective, you intended to participate in human form on the leading edge. So that source sent that intention forward, and here you are. So it's you and you. Source energy you and physical you. Source energy you being the dominant you, and this leading edge you being an extension of that. So you said, I'll explore. I'll get used to this place. I'll look around. I will find my place within it. And from my valuable and unique platform, intentions that are personal to me will develop out of life. Desire will just keep shooting out of me even before I can speak words. And your inner being part said, and we will stand in the non-physical realm, fully aware of everything that is physical, with you every step of the way. And when any small or large, subtle or bold intention is born within you, we will watch it, we will hold it, and we will stand in absolute precision of it, so that law of attraction can gather the cooperative components for it to grow. And you, Source said to you, you will find your relationship with it somehow, some way. Well, sometimes, because you're not serving yourself, you're serving others, you develop patterns or habits of thought that hold you apart from the very thing that you've asked for. But it doesn't cause it to stop being called for. So the more you hold yourself apart from anything that you've asked for, the stronger you ask. So it's you're asking and denying and asking and denying and asking and denying that parlays it into bigger and bigger and bigger until there is something that you would call an accident or something that you would call something unwanted. It isn't that Source is giving you a lesson. It isn't that you are being tested for something. It's nothing more than the relationship between what life has caused you to ask for and what you are in any moment in time allowing yourself to receive. Well, we think sometimes it's a very wonderful thing that you ask in stronger and stronger ways. The evolution of every species is about that. The peace that humans are crying for is being created from the wars that you are living. And humans want to say, well, thanks a lot. Well, Source isn't doing that to you. You're doing it to yourself. Your desire for peace is born from your abhorrence of war, you see. And so everything is like that. No one's offering you any lessons. You are the creator of your own reality. When you live any moment in time, you launch a rocket. When you don't allow yourself to experience what you've asked for, then you ask in a stronger way. When you still don't allow it, you ask in a stronger way. This is just the exposure to life, what happens from being exposed to life, you see. You keep wanting to turn this over to some higher power. You keep wanting there to be some higher power. And yes, there is a higher power, and there is a higher power focused upon you. But you see, Source is extending everything that it is to you. You've got to meet Source.
What I would like to understand more is the resistance that I may have, that I have or had, because I feel much better, obviously, that led to that kind of circumstance. Like I was trying to say earlier, I don't feel my life is I feel pretty on alignment most of the time. I'm sure I get out and I have my situations, but I don't feel that constant tension. When I usually have an issue, it resolves itself. I usually get what I want. So when I manifested such an injury, my physical mind could say, well, all my years of working out very heavy and what have you, led me to that situation. But it's like I'm not listening to myself, or something that was telling me, hey, what is it that I'm trying to figure out? What is it that...
But you see, in your trying to figure it out, you are calling yourself wrong or deficient or not clear enough or not understanding the process enough. And we can't answer that question because we will not perpetuate that flawed premise. You're starting with a flawed premise, and you can't get to where you want to be from there. You sort of follow what we're getting at?
Yes.
When the question is, what am I doing wrong? The answer that you're going to get from us is, we don't see you doing anything wrong. And then you want to say, well, then why did something that I didn't want happen? And we say, because you weren't focused upon what you did want and didn't own that vibration as strong as you want. But even in that, what we're wanting to guide you toward is being easier on yourself rather than being harder on yourself. And it sort of isn't quite your nature yet. Most of you have decided that there's something that you should be doing better. And it comes from the conclusion. So here's sort of the way it's playing out. Here I stand in relationship to what I want, and I'm doing pretty good. You keep saying it, but I don't have everything that I want. And there's a sort of condemnation in that. So we'd like you to take a path of lesser resistance by saying, but I'm never going to have everything that I want because I'm a constantly expanding being. So where I am right now is really good. Here's something that we want to reflect back to you, and we think that you're going to get this. A lot of you will relate to this. In part, it has happened as a result of your determination to be deliberate creators. So we say you create your own reality, and you say, oh good, and then you say, uh-oh. At first it seems like freedom, and then it seems like responsibility. And so you like the idea of it, and then you don't like the idea of it. And so then you begin believing that thoughts become manifestations. So you find yourself in the middle of a thought or a statement, you say cancel, cancel, suck it back before law of attraction gets hold of it and makes some manifestation that you don't want. And so then we began saying to you, because we could see your tension about trying to get it exactly right, we began saying, this is the art of allowing. Step one is you're asking, and step two is Source has become the vibrational reality that you're asking for. But step three is you've got to find some way of getting in the receptive mode so that you can realize the details of what you're asking for. So you're coming along in this idea pretty well. And now we are saying to you that since you are the creator of your own reality, and you are constantly offering vibrations, that the way for you to understand best the vibration that you're offering is by paying attention to the way you feel.